We'll be back from that break. Welcome back to Business Today. I'm Joran Paul Sonko with Winnie Nakauchi on Sign Language. We head to investment incentives. Investment incentive is a policy implemented by government to promote the establishment of new businesses or to encourage existing businesses to expand. The range of incentives offered includes tax holidays, preferential tax rates, grants, preferential loans, monopoly rights, and preferential infrastructure access. Under Schedule 2, Uganda Investment Code Act 2019, it is specified economic sectors which enjoy incentive, and some of these include agro-processing, food processing, medical appliances, and many others. Let's get the report.
Last week, Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, Honorable Thomas Tayebwa, noted that most Ugandans who wish to invest in their country's economy are not given adequate information about investment incentives available for local investors, tasking the Ministry of Finance and Uganda Investment Authority to create more awareness. According to Mr. Ronald Mukasa of Enterprise Uganda, one of the key elements of an entrepreneur is the ability to seek for information, and it's their responsibility to find right information of the opportunities existing.
Entrepreneurs to make sure that they are coming out strongly to be able to find the information that they need, especially through the associations that support entrepreneurs, the likes of CASITA, the likes of OSIA, the likes of the Chamber of Commerce. Those are places and vehicles which can be used to funnel information. And as that information is being funneled, every entrepreneur will have to make sure that that information makes sense to them. There is need for the news to go out there of the opportunities that exist and how they can be harnessed. And these opportunities, this awareness needs to be at the local level. What opportunities exist within your district? What opportunities exist within your region? What opportunities exist nationally? And now, as even the regional market expands, what opportunities exist in the region? Congo coming on board, what does that mean for the entrepreneur? So there are certainly opportunities for more information to go out.
According to Dr. Chibuka Mohamed, investment is divided into small and large-scale investment, and most of Uganda's investors have not reached level of formalization because most of them operate in small-scale businesses, and that is why they don't do research about incentives.
Incentives for local investors, they are there, but they are limited compared to the incentives given to the foreign investors. But even then, those limited ones are not well communicated to the people. The people in Uganda are not aware. The programs to publicize that are very few. I myself, I rarely see. For example, the Director of Uganda Investment Authority rarely comes out and even writes about the incentives Ugandan local investors would really enjoy. There could be some incentives which very few people are aware of and they are exploiting. Things like tax holidays. I just wonder, a person from an investor from my local village there in Iseta, Butambala, when will that investor be aware that when you import such a machine which produces local goods, all the taxes you have paid will be refunded to you? Call upon at least the leaders and the policy makers like the Speaker that the translation of policy and the dissemination of policies in Uganda is still a major problem. Uganda is is on a decentralized system, but you may find that in a full district, the representative of Uganda Investment Authority or related bodies are very few. Either there is one who is coming also from Kampala, is not down to the ground. People don't know what is going on. Like even the farmers, there could be a lot of incentives for farmers who would wish to add value to the agricultural products. But They are not aware, so they are not encouraged. And there is no way we can strengthen the currency when the local production is not strengthened.
Back from that particular report. Now we go head to head with the Coffee Court. In Coffee Court tonight, Ronan Ahabwe takes us into an in-depth information on incentives applicable for the local investors.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Coffee Court. My name is Ronan Ahabwe, and with me is a very special guest who I'll give an opportunity to introduce himself, and we'll discuss that in tax incentives regarding investment. This is in the area of Uganda Investment Authority.
Well, thank you very much, Smart TV, for driving business, because I understand that is your tagline. My name is Rwakakamba Morrison, the chairman of Uganda Investment Authority. Yeah.
So to a new person, who is Morrison Rwakakamba?
Well, I said I'm the chairman of Uganda Investment Authority, which is a portfolio I hold to help drive and promote and facilitate and deliver aftercare services for investors in Uganda, both foreign and domestic.
Okay, so over the years, what are some of those highlights you look at and you be like, this is a highlight in your tenure as the chairman of Uganda Investment Authority?
Well, we've just been here as a chairman for less than 2 years, if you will. But what we consider as a mark is, starting robustly to invest the directive of President Museveni at the start of this term, which is to create 25 industrial parks. We have moved around the country from Kisoro to Rukunjiri to Nebi to Madi Okoro to Lila to Tororo to help put together an investment land bank. And I can report to the country that so far we have secured 6.7 square miles of land where we are going to put industrial parks for investors to set up business.
Okay then. So what are some of those priority sectors in the Uganda Investment Authority you look at and be like, okay, maybe perhaps agribusiness, mining? What are those priority sectors?
You have already mentioned some of them, and they are actually articulated in the NRM manifesto, and that is, agribusiness, that is ICT, that is, information communication technology. It is really extremely very key. The other one is, of course, tourism. Tourism is one of the biggest foreign exchange earners in the country, and of course, driving the industry agenda. So those are the priorities, and those priorities are aimed, first of all, at making sure that we reduce our import bill. What do I mean is that we have industries here that produce things that we import. You can imagine some years back we are still importing, soap, we are importing salt, we are importing sugar, we are importing matchboxes, we are importing many basic commodities. But I can report to the country that now over 60% of the products that Ugandans go to look for in the supermarkets are produced in this country, and I think that's a monumental achievement, really, for the country.
Do we have the statistics of the jobs being created from Uganda Investment Authority? You mentioned of industrial parks. I mean, there must be some sort of employment in this sector.
Absolutely. The reason why these industries are put in place beyond producing goods, it's because that before, when you export raw materials, you're actually exporting jobs. But imagine, for example, if we process, our coffee here, it means that we have electricians, we have transporters, we have those who are doing packaging, we have those who are marketing, and even TVs like your Smart TV are also earning revenue from advertising, processed and ready to take coffee. So it means that once we do processing, then the jobs are kept here, I need to look at the latest quarter data sets, but the objective of Uganda Investment Authority is every year to be able to bring in investments that create over 30,000 jobs. But make no mistake, once the presidential directive of 25 industrial parks is put in place, we are looking at over 1 million jobs. Why do I say 1 million jobs? Is because each park is going to be employing 100,000 people, 100,000 people, direct jobs. And actually you have to multiply that by a factor of 7, because for every one direct job you have created 7 indirect jobs. So we believe that the future transformation, the real jobs for young people in this country is going to be through industrialization.
Okay, you mentioned of industrial parks, and I remember there was a plan to construct industrial parks in the upcountry, that is Iganga, Arua. How is that coming along?
Well, I must also report to you and through you to the country that we don't have many people. When you talk of industrial parks in Uganda, they think of Namanve Industrial Park, which I think has emerged as a. But have you been to Kapeka, for example?
I have, but not to the extreme.
You have been to Kapeka,
yeah.
and you know that most of the tiles now that we have in this country are from Kapeka. If you go to Jinja, for example, now, Jinja has been revived as the old but now premier industrial city and industrial conurbation of Uganda. The rate at which factories, huge industries into different sectors, are emerging is really amazing. You've heard of Chira, EV, where we are doing these electric buses. That industrial park is way off in Jinja. You've heard of Soroti. Have you been to Soroti Industrial Park? I think you need to visit. I need to connect you with people like Amos Wekesa, who because of COVID managed to repurpose from tourism to agro-processing. And they have put up a huge facility called Pera Commodities. And for the first time, we have a machine in Soroti Industrial Park that is cleaning aflatoxins from maize and other seeds. There is Teju, this Soroti fruit factory, and many other factories that are emerging, from this Soroti in the industrial park. Have you been to Kasese?
I have.
We have Kasese Industrial Park. So when you ask me whether we are democratizing industrialization across the country, that is what we are doing, because we believe that growth and inclusivity and jobs must be democratically distributed around the country. That's why we went to Yumbe and secured 1,600 acres of land where an industrial park is going to be located that is going to be serving South Sudan, but also serving the Democratic Republic of Congo, because that's the intersection of 3 countries. You have Uganda, you have DRC, then you have the Republic of South Sudan on the other side.
How does...
And even then, by the way,
yeah.
Recently we conducted a major investment summit in West Nile at a place called Nebi, where we worked with the local government with the advice of President Museveni and secured 500 acres on the main road for an industrial park. We recently went there, mobilized local investors. These local investors who are, doing plans, to invest because there is this now Congolese market. As you know, Congo is now
a member East African community.
Of the EAC. So, but before going there, we sent our research team as Uganda Investment Authority, and they developed investment profiles and looked at a catalog of businesses and curated clear return on investment on those profiles. And now people from Western Nile and other parts of Uganda who believe in the strategicness of Nebi as part of Western Nile and as a link to the DRC and South Sudan are beginning to plan to set up factories there. The challenge, of course, in that area has been electricity, but as you know, there have been very serious efforts now from the President and the Minister of Energy to ensure that 3-phase electricity is delivered there.
How does Uganda Investment Authority relate with the National Development Plan?
Of course, part of the pillars of the National Development Plan is about industrialization. with razor focus, I think, number 3 on manufacturing. So therefore, the strategic plan of Uganda Investment Authority is anchored on the pillars of the National Development Plan. But not just that, but also the manifesto of the National Resistance Movement. And not only that, but also point number 5 of the 10 points program that talked about building a self-sustaining economy, an integrated and self-sustaining economy. If you look at the 10-point program that ushered in the NRM government, it was about achieving that, and that's what we're delivering on.
Can I get that more clearly? The 10 points, you just, I think, mentioned one. What's more to it?
The 10-point program, of the NRM, when they took power, they had those 10 points. You know about them, about democracy, about many other things. But point number 5 was specific on building an integrated and self-sustaining economy. And you cannot achieve that. The driver for that is industrialization. And that's what we are working on.
The locals are not getting the same privileges like the foreigners. They get free land, they get tax holidays. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I am not aware or I haven't read the statement of my friend, the Deputy Speaker.
Should be able to.
Yeah, but what I can assure the country is that whereas we have heard of those notions, our belief is that we are building an economy that benefits Uganda. Let me first speak about the principles. The principle is that as an investment promotion agency, we are first of all competing for global capital from all over the world, because investors from all over the world who have money, okay? Every country, whether it is Sweden, whether it is New Zealand, whether it is Botswana, whether it is Philippines, they are all working on a daily basis to make sure that they grab and attract that capital to their own countries. You have seen some of them, advertising on CNN, advertising on China TV, making sure that this global capital that is in all these capitals is attracted to their countries. So therefore, Ugandans should be celebrating the fact that we have got investors from all over the world who are getting this capital and choosing Uganda. Who are we, to really be attractive to that capital? It's not by accident. It's because of deliberate efforts of government to create and curate an enabling environment that make sure that when investors come here, they are supported. And when they come here and they set up a factory, and President Museveni has said that consistently, that factory is for Uganda. Because once this factory is here, they are not going to lift it and take it away. Who is it employing? Employing Ugandans. Once they produce products, who is benefiting from avoiding trade deficit? It is Uganda. Who is picking taxes to make to do the roads and hospitals? Taxes are going to Uganda Revenue Authority. So I wanted to first be very, very clear to Ugandans about that we shouldn't assume that this Uganda, everybody is dying to come here. No. There are many places where these people could take the money. So first of all, we should be embracing of investors, wherever they come from. 2, we have, as Uganda Investment Authority, put in place a domestic investment division, which is aimed at supporting local investors. Because ours is like a journey map. Most of the businesses we have in this country are small businesses, and we're trying to create a journey map where how do we grow? Somebody from a small private sector, a small business, such that we work with you through the journey of qualifying as an investor and attain those incentives. Even then, in Namambe, which is the most popular industrial park, I can confidently state that over 60%, I want to repeat that, over 60% of our land allocatees, those who got land in Namambe for free as an incentive, are Ugandan businesses. Ugandans. But when Ugandans get these things, for them, they don't go and they are working. And recently, yeah, but this is why I'm speaking to you. I would want that through Smart TV and the delivering businesses, tell Ugandans that we have these incentives for you. And wherever you are, If you qualify, we give you this free land such that you establish. But let me also make this point again. Even when we give Ugandans this free land, now I'm trying to explain to you the incentives, okay? If you're a Ugandan and we give you land and you have delivered on only 30% of what you promised, you have built the perimeter wall fence, you've started building the factory. If we confirm through the government chief Varua that you have invested 30% of what you promised, we allow you to mortgage this land, to take it to the banks, and get money to complete, buy machinery, and start functioning. But if you are a foreign investor, for us to agree that you partake into mortgaging this land, you must have achieved 60%. Do you see? Secondly, for a Ugandan investor, you need 50,000 Uganda shillings. 50,000 United States dollars, sorry. 50,000 USD to qualify for the incentives, okay? But for a foreign investor, you need $500,000 and above to be able to qualify for the incentives. Do you see? But we also, in our incentive regime, because I'm now trying to show you how our investment code actually favors local investors and is delivering for local investors vis-a-vis the foreign investors. For a foreign investor to qualify for a 10-year tax holiday, because we are talking about tax holidays, yes, when we began the conversation, to qualify, okay? First, you must have invested $10 million in the economy. Not you must have verifiably, okay, invested $10 million. But two, you must show evidence that that 70% of your workforce are Ugandans. We don't stop there. We continue and say, okay, you have employed 70%, they are Ugandan. Thank you very much. But show us your payroll. Is over 70% of your payroll money going to Ugandans or to foreigners? Once we confirm that this money goes to Ugandans, okay, that's when we sign and say, you now qualify for a tax holiday.
So when it comes to local investors, then what do you gauge to give them?
No, but I haven't finished. Even then, if you confirm to us that you are training Ugandans, because again, we believe that foreign investment should also catalyze skills development in the country, okay? So if we confirm that you have trained Ugandans and it is verifiable, whether you're a Ugandan investor or whether you're a foreign investor, then you get tax returns. We make sure that once you're submitting to URA, what you spent on training Ugandans, it is deductible.
Okay. So what do you gauge in for the local investors? Do they also get free land? Do they get tax holidays?
I thought you have been listening to me.
But I don't think they are aware of this. That's why I think they don't have the incentives.
But this is why I'm speaking with you on TV. This is why we are holding regional investment summits, such that we explain to Uganda these incentives. That's why we are opening regional one-stop centers for investors. We shall be opening one in Mbale, we are opening another one in Arua, we are opening another one in Mbarara, and all these areas to ensure that people can walk in and they get educated on these incentives. We have got partnerships with media, the New Vision and others, where we publish these incentives. I have personally written a number of articles, telling local investors to come. And like I have told you, they have been coming, local investors, and this is why I was telling you that 70% of land allocatees, those who have free land in Namamve, are Ugandan local investors. Free. Yes.
On the issue of land fraud and land acquisition, for instance, if an investor came, a foreign investor for instance, if they came in the country and then the issues of land fraud and stuff, how do you manage that?
Well, first of all, for us, we are very clear. We have got guidelines on how this land is, because it is public land. For us as Uganda Investment Authority, we hold it as custodians in trustee of Ugandans. So therefore, they are very clear policy guidelines passed by the cabinet on how people access this land. One, you must have an investment license. Okay. Two, the land that we allocate is part of the investment land bank. So the titles are very clear, it is clearly owned. Okay? So therefore, once you qualify and apply, and you have a business plan that is in line with the sectors that we are promoting, okay? So therefore, a committee sits, looks at your plan, and then allocates you the land. And once that land is allocated, it is with terms. You first get a 2-year lease. 2 years, first wait. And with a very clear plan. If you have not done anything on the land in 2 years, then the government withdraws the land and gives it to another investor who is serious. That's how we do it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for watching today's episode of Coffee Court. I hope it was insightful, as it was for me, and I hope you watch the next episode. Goodbye for now.
All right, thank you very much for being part of business today, the 27th of July 2022, and I'm Jerome Paul Sonko with Winnie Nakauchi on sign language. It is a blessed night from ours, from Plot 42 Nile Avenue. Till tomorrow, goodbye.